Well, welcome to a short and energizing practice that will be supportive and accessible to everyone. I can't tell you how many times somebody says to me, I did your class and I could do it all. And that's awesome because yoga is not supposed to be something that is out of reach for people. It's supposed to be for everybody. And so um, we start out slow. We're going to start on our backs. You'll need one or two blocks and some sort of strap and your mat. And let's practice. So come onto your back and just begin by pulling your knees into your chest, feeling your whole back body touching the floor. Squeeze the knees in. You might even cross at the ankles and take the outsides of your feet and softly rock back and forth from one side of your lower back to the other. Just feeling the support of the floor and the information that the floor gives you. And then let the soles of your feet rest on the floor as wide as the edge of your mat. You can bring your arms to the goalpost position and let your knees move softly back and forth. Just take a pace that works for you. I like to start off all my practices rather slowly so that I can feel into the nuances of my body and see how my low back feels today, how my hips feel today, how my spine feels today. And that could be first thing in the morning or after I take a run or a bike ride. So if you can, as you move back and forth, allow the edges of your feet to remain on the mat. So as I move my knees to the left, the right inside edge of my right foot will stay on the mat and the outside edge of my left foot. And inhale back to center, take that in the other direction. And see if you can get close to having both knees come down to the floor, creating a slight back bend, a little arch in the lower back, away from the floor. And then interlace your hands behind your head. And then the next time you bring your knees over to the left, draw your right knee down towards the left corner of your mat and slide your right elbow towards your right heel. So you'll feel a compression in the right side body and an opening in the left side body. Inhale, slide everything back to center. Knees drop to the right. Slide the left shoulder down towards the left heel, left elbow towards left heel, and draw that left knee down towards the edge of the mat, the lower right hand edge of the mat. Inhale back to center. Do that one more time. So knees go left and slide your right elbow towards your right heel. Back to center and go in the other direction. And then coming back to center, now just stretch your legs long and bring your arms overhead and stretch through both heels and stretch through both arms as if you were being pulled apart at the middle. Mm-hmm. And from here, keep that brightness in your feet and the engagement in your legs, but take your arms to T now. So spread your wings out, arms to T, and feel your whole scapula, each scapula, the scapulae, touching the floor, pressing into the floor. On your next inhale, draw your knees towards your chest. And then take your knees around in a circle going from in a counterclockwise or clockwise direction and feel the whole pelvic area, lower back, sacral area, pressing into the floor as you roll the knees around. Draw the navel up and in slightly, and then reverse the direction. Reverse that direction. Yeah, good. And then coming back, feet to the floor. You're going to grab a block. If you don't have a block substitute. Book would work, or something you can squeeze between your legs. And bring the block to the upper inner thighs. And here, if you can have your lower legs parallel to one another and parallel to the floor, as I'm showing, pull your toes back towards your shins and have your thighs perpendicular to the floor. And squeeze the block here. And then interlace your hands behind your head once again. On your inhale, simply press your elbows into the floor and feel a little stretch through the stomach, through the tummy muscles. And on your exhale, draw your elbows together, round up, head and shoulders off the floor. Inhale to lower back down, and exhale, draw your elbows towards one another and come up. And we'll do that 6 to 12 times, depending on your pace, your speed, your core strength at the moment. Keep squeezing the block so the legs are quite engaged here as well. Elbows come together, head and shoulders lift. And can you concentrate on the lowest tip of your shoulder blade? See if you can get the lowest tip, the bottom tip of your shoulder blades off the floor. Keep squeezing the block. Keep squeezing the block. Good. And then we'll rest the head and shoulders back down. Take the soles of the feet to the floor. Keep the block where it is. And then just press up through your hips and draw your knees down towards the bottom edge of your mat. So length through the front of the legs, the front of the thighs. Feel an opening, a little bit more of an opening in the front of the hip flexor. Good, and then bring your hips back down to the floor. Now bring your knees into your chest and drop your knees over to the left. Come all the way to your left side and bring your right hand on top of your left hand. You could put something underneath your head if this was uncomfortable. And then slide your right hand across your chest to open up to the right and slide back. And you can have some slight engagement in the legs, holding the block there. And as you come across, just peek at your knees. Knees should be relatively stacked evenly as you come across. And then from here, you might sweep the arm up and over as your shoulder health permits. And then from here, you might make a big circle coming across your hips, reaching behind you and circling above your head. And so on the floor, this work on the floor, we get to sort of scan through everything and see where we are today before we come up into the standing postures, which give us less feedback because our feet are just the only things on the floor. Now we have our whole body on the floor. Inhale to bring the knees back up to center, and then you can sort of press into the floor with your feet and take your hips over to the left, drop your knees to the right, and again, you'll stack your left hand on your right arm out in the T position, and then open up through the shoulders. We're just warming up through the upper back, shoulders. We're gonna do some work in the upper back today. And then you might do the same action here if this shoulder health allows. Bringing the hands together like the big alligator mouth. And then you might come and make some big circles all the way through, over your head, across your hips. And then squeeze the block, inhale back to center. Set your feet back onto the floor, press into the soles of your feet, take the block out, and just set the block underneath your sacrum now. And stretch your legs long. If you don't have a block, you could just lie on the floor in the Tadasana shape, mountain shape. Bring your right knee into your chest, and then out to the right and down towards the floor. So you're making some circles with the right knee, feeling into the right hip. And you could be doing this on the floor as well, if it felt better for your back. Good. And then bring the right leg up towards the ceiling. So as if you were going to stand on the ceiling with the foot. Interlace your hands behind your thigh and draw your leg back towards you as you press your thigh into your hands. And feel for an opening behind the knee and in through the hamstring area. And you can let that go. And now bring the left knee up towards your chest, out and around and back down towards the short edge of your mat. So the knee is making a big circle as we explore the left hip. How is it right now? How's the hip feeling? If you're a cyclist like me and you did a big ride today, you might feel some fatigue in your hips. And then take the left leg up. Interlace your hands, the opposite grip behind the left leg. Draw the shoulder blades onto the back so you've got the head of the humerus securely in the shoulder. Press through your leg, pull back with the hands. So isometrically pushing in both directions, or pulling in one and pushing in the other. And feel an opening behind the left knee and in the left hamstring. And then release both legs back to the floor. Draw your toes back towards your shins. Pinky toes pull back even with the big toes. Stretch your arms long, interlace your hands, press through your palms. And then inhale, bring the hands up and press the palms towards the ceiling. And draw your hands over to the left and over to the right. And one more time. And coming back to center, now bend your knees and take your block again. And now you're going to take your block and you're going to bring your knees up towards your chest. Take your block on your knees and your elbows right together on your block, hands together. Squeeze, or press rather, press the legs back towards the elbows towards the legs, so you're squeezing the block there between the knees and the elbows. And then open your hands and feel your whole upper back broad against the floor. Separate the feet and feel your whole lower back broad against the floor. Keep pressing. Draw the navel up and in like a little stroke of a paintbrush. A little upstroke, yeah? And bring everything back together. See how that might change the contact, the place of contact between your back and the floor. And then open the hands back out, open the feet back out. Does that change the broadness in your back? And then come back to center. Take the block to the side. Stretch the legs long one more time. Reach the toes back towards the shins. Turn the palms up and press both shoulder blades into the floor. Tuck them under and press them into the floor. And then we'll take the knees back into the chest and crossing at the ankles, just begin to rock the length of your mat from your sit bones to the tops of your shoulders, and then come up to a seated position. And so here you could sit in this cross-legged Sukhasana position. You might sit up if your knees are very high. You might sit up on the edge of a block so that you can let the knees fall lower than the hips. So staying at home a lot more sitting, a lot more hip flexion happening. So we want to open up the front of the hips. You could also come onto your block in the Hero's Pose, Virasana. And yeah, so here we are. And here we'll just begin to circle through the pelvic bowl as if you were a spoon in a pot. And take it the other way. If you were a spoon in a pot, would you be a wooden spoon? Would you be a fancy silver spoon? Would you be a grapefruit cutting spoon with little, edges on it? Coming back to center. Inhale the arms out to the side. And here, bring the shoulders up into your ears as you internally rotate your arms. And then externally rotate your arms. So internally rotate. And externally rotate. And feel this happening at the shoulder junction. So the head of the humerus coming into the shoulder. Feel this happening here, and then come back. And now just turn the palms so you have more of the action happening in the lower arm. Great. And then right hand comes down to the floor, left up and over. Inhale back to center and take the other side. Then just go back and forth here, flowing through some side bending, some side opening. As you do, can you sense that both sitting bones stay firmly planted? There's an even weight on both sitting bones in both hips. You're not picking up one side as you move to the other side. And the next time your right hand is down on the floor, inhale the left arm up. You gaze at that hand and then press it away and look the other direction. Inhale, sweep it back up. Take a gaze at your hand if it works for your neck. And then reaching away, turn your neck your head the other direction. Let's do a couple more. Again, feeling for Your sit bone's nice and firmly planted, evenly weighted. And then you just come to the other side. So as you lift the right arm up, you're gazing at that hand and then press away and look away in the opposite direction. And let's do two more here. And then come back to the center. And then just take your hands to your shoulders and take and make some big circles with your elbows. Do this in both directions. Great. And then resting your hands on your thighs, you can roll your shoulders up, down, and back. And then we're going to bring on our inhale, we're going to draw the elbows back, squeeze shoulder blades together. And then on the exhale, press your palms away and separate the shoulder blades on the back. So I'm going to turn to the side so you might be able to see this better. So draw the shoulder blades together here. And then on the exhale, press. You might even round a bit in your back as you move back and forth through this little vinyasa. Feel the broadness of your back on the exhale. On the inhale, draw the shoulder blades together. And I'm going to scooch back around. And now same thing, but now open the arms out to the side. So this will be our inhale. Now when you inhale, can you feel for if that's happening with excessive arch in the back? And if so, straighten through the spine or lengthen through the spine and see if you can take some of that arch out of your low back and then round your back and bring your fingertips together. And inhale, open up. And exhale, bring everything together. And a few more times in the same opening and coming together. Good. And then we'll move over to one hip, take the block from beneath us, if that's what we were using, and come to all fours to table. So in your table position here, feel for the hands being spread wide and weight on the outside of your hands as well as on the inside of your hands. So evenly weighting the hands. And here, just wag your tail a few times, right to left. Just bring your hips right and left. And then you can start to circle through the hips. Right around in a circle. And both directions here. And come back to neutral. And now some cat-cows, a pretty common posture shape in our yoga classes. So we let the belly stretch as we lift the gaze and bring the heart forward between the shoulders. Tail feathers are spread. And on the exhale, press into your hands and round. Dome your back up towards the ceiling. Feel the broadness in your back. Inhale. Coming into what we call the cow position, and exhale, press into your hands, round your back, come into the cat shape. So cow shape and cat shape. I was riding my bike today. I saw all these baby cows. They're so cute, just all sleeping in this big field. I guess they're just like little kids. They needed a nap. Now, from here, just make this action happen. We're just going to work in the shoulders. So on the inhale, you'll sort of let your chest sink to the floor, draw the shoulder blades towards midline, towards one another, and then press into your hands and separate your shoulder blades. So the action is just in the upper back. So on the inhale, letting the chest move towards the floor, shoulder blades towards one another, and then press into the floor and separate your shoulder blades. Great. And then from here, come to neutral spine, just natural curves of the back, and start to draw yourself back towards child's pose. Let the abdominals work here to draw your hips back. Keep your hands extended, elbows and arms off the floor. The last thing to touch the floor will be your forehead. And then settle in, hips on heels. You could have your knees towards one another or separated. And then draw your hands over to the left. Press into your right forearm and feel the upper outer underarm working. So outside of the shoe, you could even take your hand underneath and feel that outside of, just outside the deltoid, upper outer underarm. Walk your hands back to the right. Press your left elbow into the floor. You might be able to see this better now. I'm going to reach my right hand underneath. This is the area I want to feel this all working and excited and engaged here. And then coming back to the center, and on your next inhale, you'll lift up into the cow position. And then on your next exhale, turn your toes under and lift up into downward facing dog. And on your inhale, drop your knees, come back to the cow position. And on your exhale, round your back, dome up towards the ceiling, drop your hips into child's pose. On your next inhale, draw your hands back towards your knees, sweep up on your knees, arms extended. And on your exhale, fold, draw the navel up and in, come to the child's pose. Inhale, come up to the cow shape. Exhale, curl your toes, press up, downward facing dog. Inhale, knees drop, come to the cow shape. Exhale, round your back, drop your hips, child's pose. Inhale, slide your hands back and reach them up. Come up on your knees. Exhale, stroke the navel up as you drop down, coming to child's pose. So this is the little vinyasa. We'll do a few more. Inhale to cow. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale to cow. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, lower back to child's pose. If the arms are extended as too much, we can tuck the hands behind the sacrum next time. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, the cow shape. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, slide up on your knees. You could always, if this is too much with the arms, you can tuck your hands at your sacrum, a little shorter lever, making it a little bit more accessible. And then inhale to cow. Exhale to downward facing dog. Inhale, cow. And exhale. This time we'll pause in child's pose for one full breath cycle. tenting your fingers here. Tenting your fingers and lifting your elbows, your arms off the floor. Isometrically draw your finger pads, your fingers back towards your shoulders. Feel that same outer upper underarm. Outer underarm. Can you feel that area? Fired up. Serratus anterior. And then let your arms rest on the floor as you slide yourself forward into the Sphinx pose. So here, can you lift one leg, the other leg, and sort of draw your legs long, pressing into your pubic bone, into the floor, and draw your tailbone down towards the short end of your mat. Press into your forearms. Feel the strength of the broadness across your back. You can let your head now come to, your chin come to your sternum, and then draw your chin back and forth, stretching through the back of your neck. And then we're going to take right hand down, left hand down, make a little pillow for your forehead, and we're going to rest the forehead right there. Elbows are wide. This is commonly called crocodile. And rest your head here. And on your next inhale, just press into your elbows and lift your head and shoulders. Gaze right off the front end of your mat, and exhale, release. And we'll do that a few times, just starting to feel into the middle back, the strength of the middle back as we lift. So keep pressing your pubic bone into the floor. Press the elbows into the floor and lift. And well, let's do 3 more here. Press and lift. The inhale takes you up. And this last time, as we inhale, just slide the left hand beside you. Bring the right hand now parallel to the right forearm parallel to the short edge of your mat. Bend your left knee and take your left foot with your left hand. So we're adding a little bit of a twist and a back bend here. And if this was not possible in your body today, just continue with the little back raises, right? Let that go. Take the left arm, forearm across, parallel with the short edge of your mat. Reach around. Take the right foot with the right hand. Perhaps you can get your heel all the way to your buttocks. You can play around with different hand positions on the foot. And then release back down. And just come back down onto your hands for 1 full breath cycle, just integrating the work that you just did. Okay, and then slide your arms back into the Sphinx position. And here, an option is to bring the hands together, interlace the hands together, release the pinkies. So you have, the pinkies are long, and you have a nice little platform from the outside of the palm through the pinkies. All right, we're going to move into dolphins. You could stay here, or you could keep the forearms parallel to one another. And you can come up onto your knees first. And then from here, turn the toes under and walk the feet towards the elbows. So we're working towards stacking the shoulders over the elbows. Broaden through your upper back here. Press into your forearms. Broaden through your upper back. Legs are engaged, so pull kneecaps up. Up. And the head can be relaxed. And feel the strength in your upper back. And then bring your knees to the floor and drop yourself back into child's pose once more. Bring your arms alongside you now. Okay. Arms alongside, resting the shoulders. We'll go back to one more dolphin pose. So bring the forearms parallel to one another or the hands together, interlaced together, pinky released, and then curl the toes under, press up, and stacking shoulders over elbows. And now from here, let's have everyone, if you haven't interlaced your hands, let's go ahead and do that. We'll do a few push-ups here, a few dolphin push-ups. So you'll reach forward, touch your nose to your thumbs, and then press back. And then come forward, touch your nose to your thumbs, and press back. And we could do 108 of these, but we're not going to. Maybe 8. And you can do 108 later if you wanted to. Legs are still engaged. Upstroke the belly, upstroke the navel, the belly button. So pull it up and in. Keep broaden through the back. Upper back is broad. And last one, we'll drop our knees. Take the hips back to child's pose. Reach your arms behind you, interlacing at the sacrum. And then just draw your hands away. So you get a little stretch in the front of the shoulder, in the deltoid muscle. And then from here, we'll bring your hands alongside your head and press yourself up. Now sitting on your hips, or your hips on your heels. And just release the tension in your shoulders. Let your shoulder tops be soft. And then come to all fours. Press the outsides of your hands into the floor. So actually lift your index finger and your thumb and press the outside of your hand into the floor and feel this engagement all through your arm. And then press the inner fingers down, curl your toes under, and hips back, downward facing dog. Now, can you feel the broadness through your back? Feel for broadening through your back. And we'll inhale the right leg out. And then we're going to round our back and just stack the knee over right under the chest and kind of close to the hands. And then reach the right leg back out. And then bring it back in. And release back out. And then this last time, as you round and pull the knee in, step the right foot up between your hands in a low lunge. Bring your left foot up and out, and bring your hands up onto your hips, warrior one. So the front leg is bent, bend the back leg as well, and press your weight into the outside heel. Really tack the outside heel down, and then straighten the back leg. Draw the right hip back, the left hip forward. And we're going to inhale and open up the arms again. And exhale, round our back and bring the hands together. So pressing into the feet, and as if you had a block between your legs, squeezing legs towards one another for our balance as we work some more in the upper back. Good. And then we'll come back to hands on hips. All right, we're gonna move towards warrior three. So here I'm gonna bring my torso forward. Now, if you have a block or the edge of a chair or something, anything to rest your hands on, that's fine, and that works great for working with warrior three. As I bring my weight into my front foot, I either rest my back foot on the mat or I lift my back leg. Long neck, back of the neck is long. Move some things here and show a great option with the blocks. 2 blocks. I can come into this posture and really take some of the balance out here and really work my legs. So I'm squeezing the legs towards one another. I could do this with 1 block. And I can play with hands to heart center, really standing leg, really pull that hip underneath you. And then bend the front leg and step back into the warrior one. And inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, take your hands down around the front foot and sweep your right foot back to meet your left. And come into downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg up. Take the right foot to the outside of the left foot. So pinkies are looking at one another, and then lean your hips over to the left. Try to keep equal weight in both hands. And back to center. Inhale the left leg. Bend the left leg and draw the left knee in. Take the left leg back out. On the exhale, draw the knee in, stacking your knee forward. And one more time. And a little cue to help you if you have a hard time pulling the foot through is just to tent the fingers. Tent the left fingers. Bring the left foot forward. Now we're in the runner's lunge. Turn the right foot out 45 degrees and come up into warrior one. Warrior one legs. You can use the whole mat if you need to here, and that'll help you. We all have a different hip size and articulation. So here we go. Bend the back knee and really press into the back heel and then straighten the leg back out. Right, and we'll inhale the arms up and out, and we'll do that same vinyasa. So the arms separate, or the shoulder blades come together, and you're in the back body space. And then rounding, draw shoulder blades away from each other, broaden through the back, and bring hands together. And repeat that just a few times. And we'll go one more time. Here we go. Now we'll bring the hands back to, you could try some other variations so you can have your hands on your hips. You could bring your arms behind you like you're going to take flight. We're going to lean the torso forward, maybe hop, hop. Maybe it takes 2 hops. Maybe this is where you stay. Whew. Maybe you have a block that you can support yourself with, or the edge of a chair. And lengthen through the back of your neck. Now to come back to the warrior one, if you bend the front knee and drive the left hip back, you can land pretty gracefully back into the warrior one position. Inhale, sweep, arms up. And exhale. Bring your hands down around the front foot. Step left foot back to right. And come back into downward dog. Left leg up. And to the outside of the right foot. Pinkies looking at one another. Lean your hips over to the right. And back to center. And now walk your feet up to your hands. And we'll come into a chair. You could take the block here and squeeze the block between your legs. That really helps you get the pulling together to midline, towards midline. Drop the hips back. Squeezing the block here, reaching forward. And then inhale up. Keep squeezing the block. We'll do a few of those. So as you reach up towards the ceiling, notice where you might come out of. You might use the low back to make this happen, as opposed to keeping the length in the spine. And then drop back down into, I'm going to turn and face you, drop back down into the Utkatasana chair pose. Good, and inhale, reach up. And exhale. We'll drop down one more time. Squeeze the block here. Reach the right arm forward and twist. Keep squeezing the block. Back to center. Reach the left arm forward and twist. And come back to center and stand up. Take the block out. And we're going to do just a couple of standing balance postures before we go back to the floor. Okay, so the block is to the outside of my right foot. I can do this with a block or without. I'm going to stand on the block just to demonstrate, and then I'll come back to the floor. So I think my head will be cut off. So as I stand up on the block, I want to draw the outer hip in. Move back a little bit. I stand up on the block and draw the outer hip in. Now my other foot, my left foot, can simply rest on top of that foot or into the calf or into the thigh for Vrikasana. With your hands on your hips, can you get a sense of your hips being level? You could do the same thing on the floor without the block. Release and come down. But the block adds a little extra spiciness, a little more maybe balance. Make sure it's a good firm block and not a 10-pound bag of sugar. And then left foot. So I'm going to bring the foot on the block first, and I'm going to really concentrate as I stand up on drawing the hip in. And then the other foot rests on top of that foot, into the calf, not against the knee if possible, and then or into the top of the thigh. Take your time. Notice if you regularly feel like you're in a hurry. You give yourself the gift of practicing. Stay fully here. If you fall out, can start over. Balance is different every day, and it's different side to side. And then release. And we're going to do another standing posture, this time emphasizing that spreading across the back. So now I'm going to Garudasana, eagle. I'm going to bend my knees and bring my left leg across my right and rest it on the block. Go ahead and rest it on the block. Give yourself permission to do that. And then left arm under right, backs of the hands together. Feel the broadness across your back. Maybe you can wrap the hands all the way up. Squeeze the legs together. See if you can get a sense of lining up your hands, your elbows, and your knees all in the midline. And then release. Might feel nice to do a little dancy move here. And then we'll try the other side. Bend in your knees, right leg over left, rest it on the block. Get the knees to line up in midline, and then right under left. And broaden through your back. Broaden across the back. Now, while you feel that broadness across your back, can you breathe into your low back? Filling the low back with breath, the lumbar area. Squeeze thighs together. And release. And release. And release. Now, if you wanted to, here would be an opportunity, depending on the time of day for you, to come into an inversion. You could come back into the dolphin. You could come with your legs up the wall, or you can find some wall space to do a supported handstand. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just bring my hands about 2 feet out from the wall and take one foot up, the other foot up. Press away, press the floor away with my hands. And keep my strength, my broadness in my upper back. And I'll come out the same way I went in. So 1 foot down, then the other, keep my head down. I'm going to just drop my buttocks right against the wall here and do a supported forward fold. And wherever you are, you could stay. If you're in legs up the wall, you could stay right there. And if you are still in a headstand, you could stay there, or a supported handstand, you could stay there. Or if you'd like to come to the floor, we'll now give the hips a little love, back a little love. So begin just on your back and come to easy position. So soles of the feet to the floor, arms to the side, and then cross your right ankle over your left knee and bring your knees up towards your chest. You might just hang out right here. The right hand might go through the space, taking the outside of your left shin. And feel for sensation on the right outer hip and into the piriformis, the outer buttocks, the outer part of the buttocks. If you don't feel a lot of sensation, you could lean your knees to the left a couple of inches and see if that brings some more sensation for you. If you'd like a little bit more or a little deeper, you can take your arms underneath the top shin, reach the left leg long, pull the right leg, lower leg in towards your chest, like you're carrying a bundle of firewood. Left leg's long, so I've got my navel moving up and in, a little upstroke of the navel, and then release that, and we'll go to the other side. And you could always come to your tummy if you know pigeon, prone pigeon, pigeon on your tummy. You could go there as well. So now left ankle over right knee, and your left hand through the space. Take the outside of your right shin. My particular body signature is that my left hip is quite a bit tighter. My left piriformis is quite a bit tighter. And so I probably am doing something when I cycle, maybe put more emphasis on that foot. But this is one of the things that practice of yoga helps us see where the imbalances are in our bodies, where we have more adhesion. And we're just gaining body intelligence. So it really isn't about, I can do this super hard posture, or I can hold this handstand well, you could make it about that, but really it's about gaining fluency, because the language of the body is sensation and vibration. It's all the sensations we feel. Take your feet to the floor, arms in goalpost, and let your knees move back and forth slowly. So it's more about really becoming having greater fluency in our body language. And when we have that greater fluency and we have that ease of language, we have better energy flow. We are healthier body, mind, and energy. And then come to a spread out position with your feet at the corners of your mat. And you can keep your arms in the goalpost position, or you could bring them down to your sides. Now, if there's something else that you want, maybe another twist to finish, or something else, a happy baby, you can do that. Otherwise, we'll drop here into Shavasana. Never to be skipped. Allow your practice to now just saturate your body. Belly is soft. Muscles around the eyes relaxed in between the brow. Just let everything melt into the floor. You might imagine the slight a slight smile through your eyes, and through the inside of your mouth and the outside of your mouth. Like the Mona Lisa smile, just a slight smile. And can you soften your hands? Sensing the vibration and sensation in your hands. Soften your hands once again. So you can remain in Shavasana as long as you wish. My invitation to you is to ask you what you're doing today that your future self would come back and say, thank you for that. So, one of my favorite teachers is the poet David Whyte, and he talks about this as an apprenticeship. We're always apprenticing ourselves to our future selves. So, what can you do today that builds a foundation for your future self and the happiness of your future self? Namaste. Go well.